Sewers, my name's Sarah, thanks for joining me today. I had big plans to get on for Friday Sews this week, but I was sewing right up until the wire and then I had to go to work, so I thought I'd hop on today because I managed to finish my honeymoon wardrobe yesterday. I finished sewing up the last garment and yeah, I can't believe it. A few short weeks ago I was stressed because I hadn't really started yet and I had lots of ideas and I just didn't know if I was going to have time to fulfill them all, and I've managed to, so I'm feeling really pleased. It is just in time. We're going soon. We've got my brother and his girlfriend coming to visit us for a few days, so there's not going to be loads of sewing going on, so yeah, it's all sort of worked out. As suggested, I did sort of have to adapt some of my plans because some of the simpler makes I just wasn't going to have time for, so I wanted to prioritise the things that were really specific to this holiday and which I didn't think I could buy anywhere else. So I mentioned before, I've purchased a couple of dresses which are gonna serve as sort of basics to pair with other things for the outfits. So what did I make this week? I made 3 things. The first thing was using my other majolica fabric from Dolce & Gabbana. So you'll see the pink and white just here behind me, and then here you will see another dress. Now I'll pop a picture of it here. I used the cashmerette bodice pattern, again with the square neck. I wanted the tie-up straps, but I didn't practically want the tie-up straps. So I like the aesthetic, but I wanted to have the option to remove them so that I could wear a jacket over the top or whatever. So I copied what they do in the, what is it called? Tilly and the Buttons Sky dress, which is a sundress. And you just make the ties and like tie them on so they look like ties, but you can just remove them and have normal straps. So that's what I've decided to do. Again, obviously I spoke about this pattern when I made the pink majolica dress. The cashmere Upton is just so versatile. Yeah, I think sometimes I dismiss it because I don't know, I sometimes think like the samples are not always to my taste and things like that, and so I think I forget that actually as a base and as a shape it is like a real staple piece. It comes together really quickly, the finish is really nice, instructions are great, you have so many different options that if you don't have this pattern already, I would fully recommend it, especially if you're busty. They have a full size range and lots of different cup sizes, but just the drafting's really good, and yeah, it's just a beautiful dress. And I had a real moment when I finished making it this week where I was looking at these 2 dresses hung up together and I was just thinking, oh, I'm so grateful that I learned to sew, because you know, I pinned on Pinterest, I pinned dresses, Dolce & Gabbana dresses made in this fabric, and I just thought like, I'll just try and see if I can find a pink and white print that might work. And to be able to find the actual fabric and then make a dress exactly to my measurements, and to be able to have something that I know I would not be able to buy is really special. And it's the same with my other majolica dress. Just the aesthetic is exactly what I wanted, and I just feel very lucky to have access now to clothes that I really want rather than having to settle. So the next thing I then made is this dress here. So this is the cashmerette Grafton pattern, which is basically the stretch version or the knit version of the Upton. So it gives you sort of a basic shape for lots of different jersey dresses, different necklines, different sleeves, different skirts. And I feel like I've had a bit of a sort of mixed result with this one, and I think that's partly because of the fabric. So the fabric I purchased, it's a red lace, stretch lace, and then a red sort of lycra jersey, both from Fabricland, which is a shop in Kingston, but it's a chain, so I don't know exactly where the other ones are, but there are others, but this is from the one in Kingston. And when I initially made the dress up, I'll pop a picture of it here, just when I finished it, I felt like it was it just was giving older vibes than I wanted, and I was really disappointed. So I faffed around with it a little bit, And I think it's going to be nice and wearable now, although I still don't think the shape is the best on me. So I think I need to try and make this pattern again when I get back in just like a plain jersey fabric, and sort of, I might make a few different decisions on different parts of it, but I just want to see if I can get like a really nice fit, which I normally have no issue with cashmere. But yeah, it just looked a bit like older, which is fine, but it just wasn't what I was looking for. So the adjustments that I made, so I had some suggestions online. So the initial issues that I had before I spoke to anyone was I thought the skirt was too long, the underskirt also was too long, and there was something about the combination of the sleeves and the neckline that wasn't working. So someone on Instagram suggested turning it into a sweetheart neckline, which I don't know if I can turn this a bit better so you can see it, but so that's what I've done, and I think that immediately lifted it and made it a bit different. It was really easy. All I did was find the center of the neckline, I basically just pinched it together, like held it together like that, and then I hand stitched through. It was a super easy adaptation to make, and it made such a difference. So I was really pleased with that. Another change that I made was initially along the waist, I had left some of the lace overlay loose, which is normally a look I quite like, but I think with the silhouette and everything, it just aged it a bit. So I ended up catching that in the seam instead, which I think has made a big difference. So it's got a straighter seam. And then my initial plan had been, I'm just going to make the underskirt really short, so I show a bit of leg. So I did that, but I still felt like the overskirt was just too long. So I ended up, this is a bit of a this is not the official best way to do it, but I was on a time crunch and I'd lost my patience in this dress at this point. So I cut the lace off because I was going to take it off anyway. And then I basically cut a length off at the top. I could not cut length off at the bottom of the skirt because I was using the natural lace edge as the hem. So I couldn't cut it off at the bottom. So I had to cut off along the waist, and then I snipped it, re-sewed the side seams, and then I reattached it here, which then, because I'd sewn down the lace overlay from the top, and I just added it on top of that, and we now have the finished dress. So I'll put a picture of the after. I think the colour isn't massively accurate on screen. It's like, it comes across a bit more orangey on screen than I think it is in real life. It's a really classic red colour. And I think it's salvaged. I sort of put it on, and I don't know, but I think maybe with a belt and with the right styling, I think that'll do the job. And I definitely, like, the Upton is such a staple now that I think if I just spend a bit of time on the Grafton and working out what I need to make it a really good fit and which cuts from it suit me the best, I think it will also become a staple pattern. But yeah, I think it was the combination of the shapes that I chose and the lengths and the fabric. I think with lace, you've got to be really careful because they just can go either way. So yeah, so that was that. And then my last make that I finished yesterday, you'll see it peeking up in the corner just, oh, hang on, what am I doing? There. I'm very bad at pointing. But was my last Dolce & Gabbana fabric. So this was a really special fabric. It is a silk that I purchased from Selvedge and Bolts a while ago. And it's got these sort of beautiful discs, which some of them say Sicily on them. And I was at a point where I was almost thinking, oh, I don't think I'll have time to make it. And I thought, you can't have this perfect for Sicily fabric and not blooming make it. So I've been umming and ahhing as what to make. I thought I'd make a little top because I didn't have loads of it because it was quite expensive. And I ended up deciding to make the Estelle, yeah, I think it's Estelle, or is it Estella? I'll put it below. But it's a paper cut patterns pattern. So it comes as either a dress or a top and a skirt. And I've made the top and the skirt previously, so I'll pop a picture of it here. This was fairly early in my sewing journey, but I really loved the outfit, but I barely ever wore the top. I'm not really sure why, because it's a really cool design, because it's reversible. So I'll have a picture of it here. So you can either have it as like a wrap over top, which is very nice, and then it ties in a bow at the back, or you can keep it that way, but instead of wrapping it around, you can tie it in a big bow at the front, which is, for me, is probably a bit indecent for being out in public, but not for just mooching about the place, so who knows. And then the other thing you can do is spin it round, have like a high sort of boat neck at the front, and you have this gorgeous low V at the back with a bow, which I think is so pretty. I obviously, like, I'm busty, I have to wear a bra, but I wore this before with like a skin coloured bra, unless someone's really close, and I had like my hair all down, and I think you sort of get the effect unless someone's like really up close and personal. So that's probably how I'm gonna wear it, but also I might wear the wrap version over. I've got like a sort of strappy chambray denim type dress, so I might wear it over that as well. So yeah, that was my last make finished. I finished it yesterday. I actually really enjoyed sewing it. The silk was actually a dream to work with. It was not problematic at all. It was really stable. It was much easier than a lot of viscoses and things I've worked with before. So I feel like that was a really good buy. And I feel like that one of all three, I just feel like it looks very expensive, which is good because it was very expensive. So there you go. So yeah, that is my wardrobe finished. Someone asked me the other day how many things I've made, and I'm just sort of looking at a few things here. So I started off, I had my 2 Gilbert shirts. I had my Carolyn pyjamas, my Gia surf suit, and then the tankini. That's the only thing that's not quite finished, is the tankini bottoms. My machine just had a meltdown with the swim elastic, so I couldn't get those finished, so I think I'll have to wear it with plain bottoms, but I've got the plain bottoms, that's fine. And one day I will finish off the bottoms for that. Yeah, so I made the 2 swimsuits, the pyjamas, 2 Gilbert shirts. I made Nathan a shirt. I made me an oversized like white shirt with this Ralph Lauren print on it. And then I'm just looking now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dresses. So I've got my 3 Uptons, so these 2 here, and then the black polka dot one. I have this red dress. I have the Belle dress in blue shirting with gold buttons, and I have my Cinnamon Daisy Willow, which is in that lovely, I think it's called Flavia, fabric on Mother Fabric. So I think that's going to be enough. I think with some basics, I should be good to go, hopefully. So I'm really, really pleased that I managed to get everything finished. And I can't wait to actually have some photos of these items sort of actually being worn. So yeah, I will check in with you again at some point. But thank you so much if you have stuck with me through this slightly stressful sewing journey. I'm hoping for a change of pace when I get back. 3 garments a week, too many. Yeah, I need to find that life balance again. But yeah, thank you so much for tuning in, and I look forward to checking in with you soon and letting you know how everything went on our honeymoon. So take care, and I hope you're doing some lovely sewing, and I'll see you soon. Right, thanks, bye.